This is no longer speculation. A UK university, an honorary doctorate, and Ghana's sitting president John Dramani Mahama are the center of this global storm. And it's now confirmed that John Dramani Mahama has been dropped by University of Lincoln, and the reason is sparking outrage across Ghana.
Lincoln University has cancelled plans to confer an honorary doctorate on Ghana's president John Dramani Mahama because of the country's position on LGBT issues. Of course, the university itself says that it is cancelling the conferment due to unforeseen circumstances.
Stay with me because this story is bigger than politics. In this video, we break it down exactly what happened that the Lincoln University have decided to drop President John Dramani Mahama. Now, let's get into the video.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
President, Ghanaians are so proud of you. And if you're not proud of our president at this moment, then probably you belong to the community of the LGBTQ+. And before you are quick to tag me as a pro-NDC, let me explain the reason why I feel Ghanaians are proud of our president. So our president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, was supposed to receive an honorary doctorate from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania on 26th March. That's 2 days away. And just 2 days away, 48 hours from the ceremony, Lincoln University comes out with a short notice that they will not be able to confer this honorary doctorate on our president because a group of them believe that our president has a strong stance against LGBTQ+. If this information circulating online is true, then this is not just about a degree being conferred. It's about identity and culture. Yet our president will still go ahead to present his speech at the UN General Secretary, stating that the transatlantic slave trade was the greatest crime committed against humanity, and then due reparations must be done.
Now, according to emerging confirmed report, University of Lincoln in the United Kingdom had planned to award Mahama an honorary doctorate degree. In fact, they had written to President Mahama that they were going to honor him. Number two, they were also going to host him for an official academic visit. But the recognition has now been withdrawn. Why? Because of growing concerns linked to Ghana's controversial anti-LGBTQ+ bill, which is officially known as the Human Sexual Right and Family Values Bill. And I'm sure you know that, right? Before NDC was about to come to power, that was one of the bills they championed, led by Sam Jatachu George, who is now the Minister of Communication and Digital Media. So we even thought by now, 1 year into office, the NDC would have signed this bill a long time. But after now, they've not signed that bill, and we don't know why. But that bill is the same thing which has now become the albatross on the necks of the NDC, led by President John Dramani Mahama.
Lincoln University has cancelled plans to confer an honorary doctorate on Ghana's president John Dramani Mahama because of the country's position on LGBT issues. Of course, the university itself says that it is cancelling the conferment due to unforeseen circumstances. In America, every single occasion on campus triggers protests. What is expected to happen when Mahama comes to Lincoln University was that LGBT people were going to be protesting Mahama. And because of the relationship between Black liberation and LGBT, it's most likely going to be a big protest, which most likely was going to lead to distractions, which most likely is going to make Lincoln University be in the news at a time when President Trump is at a war against DEI and universities generally. So an historically Black university putting itself in a position where it will be making negative headlines in Trump America is something that they would want to avoid. And that is why, from a position of optics, it's understandable why Lincoln University, when they get wind that there is going to be a protest at the conferment of Mahama, they would cancel the conferment. It is in their interest to do that.
Now, here's where it even gets intense, because this is no longer just a university decision. In fact, it has now triggered a national response from Ghana's top officials. And one of them is Ghana's Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Sam Jata George. He has spoken and his message is loud. He's saying that in a strong-worded post on Twitter. He said, "Our values cannot be diluted and bought by sinister forces. The folks at Lincoln University should bow down their heads in shame." Sam George, what a response. Now, he went further and said that we are a proud nation and no one should dictate what happens in our nation. This is not just a reaction. In fact, this is a clear pushback against foreign influence. But Lincoln has a lot of credibility, and Lincoln is not just an ordinary university. In fact, it is a university of Ghana's first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So for Lincoln to honor you, it's not just an ordinary feat, all right? It's not just an ordinary achievement, but we got here.
I hear something about Mahama, our home Mahama of Ghana, the only democratic. Hey, God, please, something happened. You know, it's been a while I hear this news about Ghana and Senegal. Make I bring my phone so that I can read the article out the way they write it. They said the issue between Ghana and Senegal about LGBTQ plus community. It was, I don't know, maybe 2, 4, 3 days ago I see the news. But me, I was trying to even talk about it, but I forget there's a lot going on. But I hear this afternoon that these people that will never cease to, you know, is it disrespect? Is it disgrace? Is it, I don't know. What I get is, these people. They said one shenanigans university disrespect Mahama, our home Mahama. Mahama traveled to that place to go and get doctorate, I don't know, celebration, if I don't make a mistake. They want to honor him. So I believe he traveled to that place. And 2 days to the ceremony, they tell Mahama they are not going to give him that post again because of this LGBTQ plus community. They are dragging the bill that Ghana passed that we don't want LGBTQ enough in Ghana. So they said they will not give it to Mahama again because it's not doing human rights. Mahama is violating human rights.
So now the question becomes that, is this academic freedom or is this global pressure crossing the line? Now, this is the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that this situation exposes a growing global tension. On one side, Western institutions emphasizing human rights and inclusivity. On the other hand, is African nations defending cultural values and sovereignty. Now, Ghana's anti-LGBTQ bill plus has already sparked international criticism. It even raised concerns among investors and institutions, and even created diplomatic tension. And now, it's affecting academic recognition at the highest level. You know what? So Ghana would have been in a very big trouble had it not been that Donald Trump is also against this, sexually thin. Ghana would have been in a hot water, but he is against it, and so it makes things easier for Ghana. Okay, it makes things easier for Ghana. But with Lincoln triggering this alarm bell again, Charlie. But wait. This is where things get even more serious, because the decision could have consequences beyond President Mahama. What does this mean going forward? What does this also mean to Ghanaians in the diaspora in the UK, and how the global world will look at us? So decisions like this shape how Ghana is viewed internationally. Decisions like this, it shapes how Ghana will be viewed internationally. And universities may begin distancing themselves from political figures tied to controversial policies like that policy of Ghana, right? Anti-LGBTQ plus, law. Domestically, this could also boost Mahama's support, because people are like, Mahama. You understand? He's going to get more, because after the promise and the action by Sam Jata George, they came to power 1 year after, and they don't talk about this bill, only for this to happen. So domestically, this could actually boost Mahama's support, and many Ghanaians will also see this as a foreign interference. So it's just about Mahama losing internationally but gaining politically at home. Let's also be clear that the issue is deeply divided. So supporters of the bill say it protects Ghanaian cultural and moral values, but critics say that it threatens human rights and freedoms. And now global institutions like Lincoln University are taking a stance, whether you agree or not. But this is no longer just about a degree. In fact, this is about who get to define values in the global world. So here's the reality. The honorary doctorate has been withdrawn, Ghanaian officials are fighting back, and the world is watching closely. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think of this LGBTQ plus bill? Do you think Ghana should pass it and prevent people from talking about it, as in the bill now, or you think, after all, who cares? If two people decide to do whatever they like, let them do it, as it is being championed in the international world. What is your stance on the LGBTQI+ that Ghana is pushing through in Parliament? Leave your comment in the comment section. It's a wrap for today.